There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.
Hello and good morning. I'm meteorologist Lisa Green here with a look at our first alert weather days ahead. Welcome to the Valley News Now weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. So today we are tracking wind, we're tracking snow, and the combo of the two that's wreaking havoc across the valley. I know we've had a lot of reports of people having trouble out on the roads, trouble with visibility. We've had slide-offs being reported in places. So we're going to check in on all of that, get you an update on what's going on, and then I want to get into the details on what to expect through the rest of the day today and our forecast for the rest of this first alert weather day. But it's not just today. We have first alert weather days into Saturday and Sunday as well for more wintry weather that could be hazardous for you if you are going to be out and about. So I want to talk about, first of all, checking in on how things are in the valley. So I'm going to pull up our website and start there. Here's a look at our weather page on our website. You can see here we've got valleynewslive.com, and then it's /weather. And you can read our little discussion here on the website. You can also scroll down, get the latest conditions in Fargo, or you could look up conditions for your zip code. And then your hour by hour planner here, and then beyond we have weather headlines too that you can check out. So and weather graphics too to stay up to date. You can also do so on your VNN weather app. You can access this website right there as well. But let's take a look at, I want to take a look at our sky cams really quick here. So we've had some rough views on some of our sky cams. This is the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. The visibility here has been down. It's actually improved a little bit. We can actually see that faint building in the distance. That's Sanford Hospital. I haven't been able to see it all morning, so nice to be able to see that now. Camera's still shaking in the wind a little bit here. And then our camera at the Dakota Magic Casino. This one has been quite blustery and pretty dramatic as well. And you can see the flags straight out in that wind and the blowing snow reducing visibility there. That's along the state line with South Dakota. And also in Grand Forks, let's check in on how things are going on and how things are going in the Northern Valley. Not as bad. It's improved here. So, there may still be some blowing snow happening, but especially once we start to see our falling snow diminish, visibility will improve, but there will still be some blowing snow, especially out in open areas. So that's a look at some of our cameras around the valley. Looks like we've got some improved conditions in the Bismarck area. We'll take a quick look there. Still some blowing snow, it looks like, in that area. So again, looking at conditions that are not ideal everywhere. Now and plenty of closings and delays too. You can check out these on our website. We'll close that for a second. We'll check out these on our website. Right on our weather page, it's also at the top of our home page too. Lots of schools that were delayed or canceled today. Through the course of the morning, those rolled in pretty quickly here. So we'll go back to our weather page and let's take a look at road conditions. So again, on our road conditions page, you can see all tri-state area, the Dakotas, Minnesota, but also Manitoba included in our options. Let's check out North Dakota first. We've got any area kind of in this shade of purple. That is a travel alert. That is in effect and includes Grand Forks County, Cass County, back through Jamestown, up through Devil's Lake. And then central and western North Dakota got snow too, so they're dealing with wind and snow in those areas as well. Fargo is currently showing around the metro. We'll zoom in on the Fargo side, some solid snow. We'll show you the legend here so you can compare. This solid purple color, that's snow covered, and then surrounding areas with some scattered snow reported on the roads. Yellow means ice or compacted snow. Green means good for the season. We've got a few of those popping up there. Around Grand Forks to Devil's Lake, some scattered snow reported on the roads as well. So that's North Dakota. We can check on cameras here too, and we'll do it now, and then we'll move on to Minnesota. Fargo area we'll check first. You can see some of our cams showing some reduced visibility and some snow on our roadways. And looks like we accidentally scrolled up there. Yeah, so here's 38th Street North in Fargo. You can see all the snow on the road. And look at the plows. They're deploying out there trying to work on clearing away some of that snow. And that looks like that's just north of 13th Avenue. And then, more locations showing some snowy conditions. West Fargo, that interchange on Main, that is looking pretty snowy, low visibility here. And this is more out in the open. So that's an area where some blowing snow is impacting us. And over in the Morton area, so this is down in Richland County, you could see some drifting across Highway 13 there, just off of I-29. So that's the Fargo area, southeastern North Dakota essentially. Devil's Lake. You could see more areas. Leeds area, Devil's Lake itself showing some blowing snow. And even at the rest stop at Crary, you can see some snow blowing across the parking lot there. Langdon's looking pretty bleak right now along Highway 5 in the Langdon area. You can see some blowing snow happening there. And Clyde as well. This is also in Cavalier County. You can see the plow crew member out there working on the road with the drifting across the road surface. Not just drifting, but actual drifts building up on the road in this one particular area. There goes the plow there in that shot, and then kind of a similar view in the distance. So road surfaces looking kind of icy with the drifting going on across the roads too. That's Devil's Lake, and we'll check in now on Grand Forks area. Also seeing some drifting up by the Pembina Port of Entry. Cavalier, seeing some low visibility at times. Sorry, the page keeps refreshing, so it keeps going back to the top. And we'll just select over here. We'll select Jamestown as well. And it doesn't look terrible. It looks a little bit icy there, but so far visibility is looking a little bit better in some of those cameras there. So you can check this out for yourself by heading to our page at valleynewslive.com. And then looking at Minnesota, this is where we've had some road closures earlier on this morning. This area here, we had parts of Highway 75, Highway 2 from Crookston to East Grand Forks was also closed for a little bit. Looks like we still have no travel advised on Highway 2 between Crookston and Grand Forks. So that's an area where we've got no travel advised. Also along Highway 200 between Ada and Highway 75. And then also, you see these dots here. That's where visibility is very low. Let me pull up the legend. I believe this is quarter mile or less. Yes. Actually, no, it's 1/10 of a mile or less, so very low visibility happening in Clay County right now at these locations. That's what these dots mean. So showing that there, and then more places just south of in Polk County, western Polk County, and parts of Monoman County and Becker County, some areas where visibility is at a quarter mile or less. So I'll pull up our layers and we'll take a look at some of our plow cameras here. We'll take a look at plow cameras in Clay where it's been reported with low visibility. That one on Highway 10, not looking terrible. This looks pretty yucky along Highway 9, south of Highway 10, so between Highway 10 and Downer. And then up along R94 rather. This is an area that's had some trouble with some slide-offs this morning. Road surface here, this does not look like I-94. This must be, okay, this is, sorry, we needed to zoom in a little more. Just south of I-94 on Highway 9. We'll take a look at just north of Rothsay. I-94 is looking, again, in the distance, it's looking pretty murky. And you can see the blowing snow here. So if you had a car stop in front of you, not too far away and traveling at interstate speeds, you'd be on it pretty fast and not see it right away. So that's why, troopers always tell you, just because the speed limit is posted at 70 doesn't mean you need to go 70, especially during these times, because especially when the visibility is low as it is and with plows out as well. So again, that's just a look at some of our situations we've got going on. There are some reports, looks like we've got some crashes That's the snowplow camera. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So we've got a eastbound I-94. This was reported at 10:18. There's a crash reported there. That's, looks like, between exit 67 and exit 77. And then another one, interesting, I-94 eastbound crash as well in that area. And it looks, we can actually see this on our camera right now. So this says northwest here, so I'm guessing we are looking to the northwest, which means this is eastbound traffic. And you can see a car that has slid off the road here. This is mile marker 81, it looks like. And we've got crews out there working on that. So they slid off pretty far, so hopefully everybody's okay there. You can see the drifting across the road here with the emergency crews and tow crews in that area. So please be aware that there might be some emergency crews along the side of the road as you're traveling. Of course, this guy's doing the right thing here by getting over in that left-hand lane. Yeah, that's where one of the crashes has occurred. The camera view is showing that pretty well. Just looking to see if we've got any other angles. No, that's the best angle there. So this is near is that the Evansville? Yes, that's just ahead of the Evansville exit on I-94. And if you're, I know it's Friday, a lot of people driving down to the cities for the weekend. There are more, crashes being reported. This is a jackknife semi being reported here east of Alexandria, and then even farther down the road toward St. Cloud exits, a report of a crash there too. So again, these slide-offs continue to happen here. So conditions have continued to be tough for travel. Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about what our current reports are, our current conditions outside of the road reports that we've been getting. Just going to move my chair out of the way so we can step back to the monitor and point at some things here for you. Okay, and let's get started. We're going to be looking at conditions for today and again for the weekend. So if you are wondering about weekend conditions, stick around here. We're going to continue to talk about that. And a reminder, this is streaming live on our Valley News Now on our website. It's also streaming on YouTube and on Facebook. And on Facebook, I'm monitoring to see if we have any questions that come in that I may be able to answer for you here this morning. So feel free to head to the comment section on this live to ask your questions here, or pass along a report as well. That's always appreciated too, so we can let other folks know what they may be running into here today. Okay, so making sure everything is behaving like it should. Okay, so let's get into our first alert weather day. So this is day 2 of 4. We raised that first alert weather day for Saturday and Sunday yesterday, so we kind of tacked that on to what we've been experiencing here the last couple of days. We're going to talk first on today's first alert weather day, the scattered snow and wind, intermittent whiteout conditions that we've been seeing, and the travel impacts, but also first alert weather day for Saturday because of some very low wind chills, ones we haven't seen quite yet this season. And with still some conditions on the roads that aren't great, if you find yourself in trouble on the side of the road, we want to warn you that the wind chills are going to be very difficult and hazardous for you. And then heading into Saturday night and Sunday, another clipper moves through, bringing us that chance for some snow and some wind coming up for Sunday and blowing snow. So just looking at a couple more views of our DOT cams. This is the tri-level in I-94 and the intersection or the interchange between I-94 and I-29. Some ice on the camera here. Visibility has improved quite a bit. I'm still seeing, it's kind of hard to tell from probably your vantage point, but I'm seeing some drifting still on some of the road surface. And then on the northern side of the valley, you can see visibility not looking great up in Lancaster. This is along Highway 59. in the distance, not much of a view, and we've got snow and ice buildup on the road surface as well. So north and south, again, we're dealing with some troublesome road conditions. So let's take a look at the radar. We have scattered snow showers ongoing. It's not as widespread as it was this morning. If you were watching this morning, there's a lot more blue on the map, but there are still areas where we're getting snow, and it continues to drive through the valley. And in those areas, if you happen to drive into one of them, your visibility may suddenly drop. And in addition to already having some blowing snow happening, then you might get into a situation where visibility is close to zero in some of these spots. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Fargo Moorhead, we've been seeing some of the snow working its way through, continuing, especially on the west side of the metro, over by Valley City, the Detroit Lakes area, and this stretches down toward Lisbon and Gwinner as well. Northern Valley, again, Grand Forks, starting to see more of that snow moving into that area too. So still getting, areas of snow. The general trend again will be for it to taper off, but we're still going to have to put up with it for a little while longer here. So let's take a look at our visibility. It's still zero in spots. Wapaton, at the airport there, it's at zero. Langdon, Rolla, reporting zero right now. And then more places that are, close to that zero range, less than a mile. Fergus Falls checking in at a quarter mile. We're looking at Crookston, a quarter mile visibility, and Devil's Lake's at a half mile. Some improvement in Fargo. We were less than a mile earlier this morning. We were at a half mile last I had checked our lowest report. And now we're at 3. So that's better, but just because it gets better doesn't mean it's over. It's that situation we talked about yesterday where we get blizzard-like conditions for a short time, then it improves, and then it worsens again, and we're back to whiteout conditions. So kind of inconsistent, but still consistently bringing in some of that wind and snow as we work our way through the day that creates that low visibility. So here's a look at our current wind speeds. We've got winds steady in the 20s in a lot of places, up to even 30. And then our gusts in the yellow numbers here, Devil's Lake, 37 mile per hour gust. Fargo, at least at the airport right now, no reported gusts, but you can see down toward Oaks, we're at 43 miles per hour, Sisseton 45, Alexandria 43 miles per hour. So some strong gusts happening here in places, especially in the south and west. And checking out our wind gust forecast, this is going to be all day that we have the wind. So we're looking for gusts in that 30 to 40 plus mile per hour range. There is that possibility still that we could see a gust of 50 miles per hour. We do have that advisory, the wind advisory in the James River Valley for gusts to 55. And then here more in the Red River Valley proper, maybe not as intense, but still up to 50, add some snow to the mix, and that's going to be troublesome. I also want to talk about temperatures. That's going to become an increasing concern heading into later tonight. We're right now at 8 degrees in Fargo, 8 in Grand Forks. Most of us, a lot of us in the single digits now, and some getting close to zero. Rolla is at 1. And we'll continue to see that downward trend in our temperatures as we continue through the day and into tonight. And wind chills that get low, in fact, to that range that we've been talking about that could be dangerous. And in fact, some of us already in the 20s below up in the Devil's Lake Basin. Devil's Lake, 21 below wind chill currently. It feels like 13 below in Fargo and Grand Forks. So heading out to maybe try to keep up with the snow that's blowing onto your driveway, you'll want to make sure you're layering up and covering up here for today. So it's cold now. We're looking out for these snow showers to continue as we work our way into the afternoon. And notice how, we do have that chance for some of these snow showers to wind down, but there's still some isolated pockets. This is 4 o'clock. We're still getting the wind too, so the snow that we picked up is getting blown around still. And then we're seeing more of these isolated snow showers that aren't quite done yet. Now I'm adding the numbers, the temperatures back onto the map because we're talking about temperatures tonight. But we'll continue to see that isolated snow chance into the evening. I think the most intense time is this morning. That is more likely to be the case here. But we'll still have pockets and times where we are running into some of these little snow squalls working their way through here heading into tonight. But once we get into the late night hours, that's when they'll really taper off. And so we'll end up with, as we head into Saturday morning, quieting conditions as far as snow is concerned, but we're still blustery. We're still getting winds gusting into the 30s to 40 miles per hour. It'll come down pretty soon in the daytime hours on Saturday, but we're still dealing with some, drifting snow across roads, areas out in open country where blowing snow might not be bringing our visibility down to 0, but it's reducing visibility. And then that wind is strong, and so our temperature is below 0. And then we're looking out for wind that's bringing down our wind chills into that dangerous range. So additional snowfall, this is on top of what we've seen, and I don't have any reports for you right now. I'm hoping we'll start to get some in, and we can pass along more as the day goes on. Tough to measure, though, with the blowing snow and the wind. But you can see, in addition to what we saw starting up yesterday afternoon, all the way through this point, we're looking at, another dusting of snow, and then these pockets in the kind of more opaque, brighter light blue. That's that 1 to 2 inch range. So not expecting much more snow, but still could pick up a little bit more with this one by the time it's all said and done on Saturday morning. And then looking at our winds, this was starting off earlier this morning. We had some gusts into 40s to kick off the day, and we'll continue to see these gusts into the 30s to some 40s. Out west, they've had some 60-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts. By out west, I mean western North Dakota. And so that's where the high wind warning is. That's where the highest wind gusts have been. But we've certainly had our fair share of some windy weather here today that's caused quite a few problems with visibility. And then continuing on into this evening, we're still getting these gusts into the 30s to 40 miles per hour. And this is as the snow is tapering off. But again, the gusts will continue to be a factor heading into Saturday morning. It's not until we get into the noon hour, midday, when the wind starts to come down and we get a break. It doesn't go away completely. We get a break, and then more comes for the Clipper Saturday night and into Sunday. So here's a look at our wind chill forecast. So that's today. If you have any questions about today, appreciate hearing from you. We do have a report coming in from Summer. She's passed along. She said we have a report from the Greenbush, Minnesota area. That's in northwestern Minnesota. And the report we have so far is 3 inches there. So that kind of lines up for the possibility of, that 2 to 5 we were talking about for a couple of pockets, and then a lot of us getting into that 1 to 2 range. So thanks, Summer, for passing that along. I have somebody asking about road conditions from Fargo to St. Cloud and Wahpeton to Fargo. Okay, we just went over road conditions just a little bit ago. I'll review that again. We'll go back to that once we're done with the forecast here, so stick around. But we're looking at wind chills that are going to be getting pretty tough heading into tonight. So we are looking at wind chills in the 20s to 30 below. And then moving on into tomorrow morning, this is when it will likely be toughest. We're seeing wind chills 20s to 30 below in the Southern Valley, Northern Valley. That's where we have the potential of getting as low as 40 below in some spots, especially along the international border. So, at that range, your exposed skin can freeze in minutes. So that's why it's so important to make sure you're prepared to be outside when we've got wind chills at this range. And that's why we're first alerting you to it, just to remind you that this is getting into dangerous territory if you're not properly prepared and dressed for it. And you don't want to spend a long time outside, out in those kind of wind chills anyway. And then moving on into Saturday evening, some improvement, but we've got that Clipper coming for Sunday, or Saturday night and into Sunday. And so that's going to, once again, create some wind chill issues as we head into the day on Sunday. So that's something to keep in mind as well. As we look ahead to Sunday morning, you can see we're starting, as the wind picks up, we're starting to see those wind chills coming down. So that'll be one to watch out for as well. So this is Saturday morning. So we've talked about today's Clipper. Let's talk about the Clipper for the weekend. Saturday morning, we are quieting down. We've got some of that wind still, but the snow has ended. Might even see some sun peek through on Saturday morning and into midday. But here comes the next one as we head into Saturday evening. This is about 7:30. You can see it's pushing into the Devil's Lake area, that snow chance. So most of the day should be dry as far as additional snow is concerned. But evening hours, dinner time, and beyond, you're probably going to want to keep an eye on the radar if you're in those areas, or if you're traveling west through the state, it'll hit the western part of the state earlier. And so then moving on into the overnight hours, here are those scattered snow showers moving through overnight, and this carries on into Sunday morning. That snow starts to depart, and we'll still have some lingering snow, but look at these winds, these wind arrows here. We've got some strong winds kicking in the wake of that. And so we get more fresh snow on top of it, and we're just going to have some blowing snow problems going on Sunday. This is Sunday afternoon around 3 p.m. The snow is done, but the wind is whipping that snow around. So Sunday snowfall potential, we're looking at some areas that could get in that 2 to 3 inch range. So we're looking at some spots maybe not getting much, and then 1 to 3 inches for a lot of places here for the valley. So, that's in addition to, we just got a report of 3 inches of snow. So, that's a decent amount of snow for the wind to work with once we get into Sunday. So I am concerned about, travel, and I know Sunday is a big travel day, everybody heading back home. I'm concerned that travel is going to be impacted here, especially as we go through the day on Sunday. So let's show you our winds here now on Saturday night into Sunday with this clipper. So again, these numbers are your wind gusts. It's fairly quiet in the afternoon. Once we get into Sunday morning, still not too bad in the east, but we're starting to see the wind pick up out west. And so, heading into daybreak, so we'll see that chance for the winds gusting into the 30s and 40s starting to increase. And not just that, there is the potential, this particular model showing the potential of seeing gusts getting to about 50 miles per hour by the time we're in the noon hour. So, for some of us, that's going to be stronger than winds we see today if this scenario happens. So blowing snow, really a concern for the day on Sunday, especially as we get into the midday hour and into the afternoon and evening. So moving on into the evening hours on Sunday, we're watching for those wind gusts to continue into that 30 to 40 mile per hour range for most. So it's going to be a tough weekend, a cold one. Sunday, is going to warm up from Saturday, as you see here, but that doesn't mean it's going to be warm. We're looking at Saturday, highs around 0 with wind chills again in the morning hours that are dangerously low, anywhere from the 20s below to as low as about 40 below in the northern valley. In the morning hours again, we get that break from the precip later Sunday night, or Saturday night, it starts to move in, and then Sunday wind following that round of snow that's going to fall into Sunday morning, and temperatures that are cold too. So I want to just kind of review our 3 first alert weather days that we've got going on right now. So we've got, lots of things to talk about here. Today, again, we're watching for that scattered snow to continue into the afternoon and then start tapering off into this evening. It's already coming down a little bit, the coverage of it and the intensity, but it's still out there. And the windy weather causing all that snow we've picked up to blow around. So we'll have widespread blowing snow happening as long as the wind is, gusting in that 30 plus mile per hour range, which should happen through much of the day today. And then in those areas where we get more snow coming down, those whiteout potential for us here for today and into this afternoon and tonight too. Now Saturday, waking up to some tough wind chills, again, 30 to 40 below, first alerting to that. And there may still be some drifting snow on Saturday morning. It's not whiteout, but still causing more ice on the roads and reducing visibility out in open country. And then later on Saturday night, that next clipper moves in, so we're looking out for nighttime snow showers, especially in the overnight hours, and lingering into Sunday morning, our next first alert weather day. And so we've got that increasing wind again on Sunday and the blowing snow factor that could, and if we see those kind of gusts, cause some trouble for travel on Sunday as well. So if you're traveling this weekend, please make sure you're checking with us and that you know what to expect before you hit the road. You can always, again, check those road conditions on our VNN weather app. Or on our website, on a desktop website if you want. And then we'll of course be keeping you up to date right here on Valley News Now. So if you have an app on your TV, you can open that up there and watch the live stream. And then of course Valley News Live on our TV channels as well. So that's kind of an overview, a review of what we're experiencing into this weekend. I'll take a look at our 11-day planner coming up in just a second, but I did want to take a moment to answer some more of those questions. I know we heard from a viewer wondering about road conditions in a couple of places, so we'll check in on those. So I'm going to pull up those maps again here for you really quick. We are looking at, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pull up that view here. So we had a question, here we go, not sure why that was hidden. Fargo to St. Cloud and Wahpeton to Fargo road conditions. Okay. So we need to be in Minnesota here. So Fargo to St. Cloud, we actually kind of talked about how tough it is out there right now along I-94. I've got a lot of things on the map here. We'll get rid of some of this stuff so it's a little more visible. Let's see. Okay, so anywhere where we have blue on the map, that's where we've got scattered snow across the roadway. And that basically extends from Fargo-Moorhead all the way through Sauk Center. And then anywhere we have these exclamation points in purple here, that's where we have slide-offs, where we have crashes, and there are several of them south of Fergus Falls, and then back over towards St. Cloud. So you're going to be running into some, as long as this continues, reduced visibility, some areas where we've got some drifting on the roads, and then reduced visibility, especially from Fargo to Fergus Falls, where we have these dots here. Again, a reminder, that means that we've got visibility at 1/10 of a mile or less. So that's going to be tough driving through Clay County and into parts of Otter, well, most of Otter Tail along I-94. And I can look at some of our cameras again. This is the Rothsay area. You can see how low that visibility is. That car's, you know, kind of driving into low visibility there in that particular image. And then down toward Alexandria, we'll check in. Looks like we've got some drifting across the roadway. Yeah, this gives a good example, I think, of what you may see driving down a highway or interstate. Some places where, you know, there's ice on the road, there's snow on the road where it's not bad, and then, you know, suddenly you get into this dip where there's enough wind to blow some of that fresh snow across the roadway. Your visibility drops, and, you know, we've got more ice potential buildup on the road. So that's kind of what I would expect to experience. It looks like around Sauk Center, visibility is also in that 1/10 of a mile or less range. So that's going to be tough travel. There's no travel advisories along this stretch of road right now, but that does not mean it's looking okay. So keep that in mind. When I say travel advisories, I mean this purple travel not advised coloring, and we have that along Highway 200 between Highway 75 and Ada, and then also from Crookston to East Grand Forks right now in Minnesota. And then I think the other question was Wahpeton, right? Yes. Wahpeton to Fargo. Okay, so this is, we'll zoom in on this area. You can see we've got some scattered snow on the roads. That's what these dashed purple lines mean, scattered snow. So looking at that being a factor for us here as we're driving in that direction, both on I-29 and Highway 13. Taking a look at our cameras, we don't have a lot down in this area, but the Morton area, you can see our camera here showing some snow along I-29, and then on Highway 13 west, oh boy, now I take that back. That looks pretty dramatic. This is west of I-29 on Highway 13. Very limited visibility. You can see the snow drifting over the roadway there. So again, it's variable what we're experiencing. And here's another view from that same camera. So yeah, maybe Highway 13 is going to be a little tougher than at least what I'm seeing on I-29. I imagine there's probably going to be some more pockets where we have those kind of issues again from Fargo to Wahpeton. So not ideal is the bottom line. And, you know, it's one of those days where, you know, if you don't have to travel, you might want to reconsider that if you can. Okay, so thanks for that question, Alexa. Summer, thanks for passing along. We got 1.1 inches of snow in Lemoore from meteorologist Summer Schnellbach. And, oh, we got a question, Perham to Fergus Falls. Similar to, you know, what we've been talking about for the interstate, depending on what route you take, but you can see that we've got blue on the map. That means partially covered here in Otter Tail County. If I hover over that highway, I'm seeing light slush reported along Highway 78. We'll come down here on this segment, if I can highlight it. Roadway partially covered with snow, blowing snow, reduced visibility. Underwood along Highway 210 area, same report coming in. If you were to go along Highway 108, I believe, yes, Highway 108, we're looking at light snow on roadway, and you can see the dots here, so visibility a half mile or less. So we've got some visibility down because of the blowing snow. Highway 59, looking at, again, roadway covered partially with snow and blowing snow. So I can see if we have a plow view here. We have a couple of them, not on Highway 78, but just east of Pelican Rapids. A couple of images here. The most recent one doesn't look too bad. It looks like that plow is getting passed by a private plow. Interesting view there. But the previous view does show, looks like driving along the lake there on Highway 108, some snow on the road surface in that area. And then down toward Highway 59, down toward Elizabeth. You can see the blowing snow. Nice to see that sun trying to peek out. But we do have some areas of blowing snow going on there too. And then down along Highway 210, again, there's areas where it's fine, and then we get some blowing and drifting, reducing visibility. I'll take a look at another camera here. You can see the ice buildup on the roadway as well in that area. So that's a look. It's going to be not perfect really anywhere today. Some places are going to be a little better than others, but at times you could see another passing snow shower move through, and suddenly your visibility drops, and how it was just a few minutes ago is suddenly different. So, okay, I think that's it for questions here. So we'll come back to the forecast and talk about what we can expect through the weekend. Again, first alert weather days. We've got some huge changes that have been happening here as we've been working our way into the second half of January. And we had a cold start to the month the first couple of days, but then we were surging, and we had some very warm days for January standards, and that is definitely going to be changing. It's already changed, and it will likely stay that way as we continue on through this second half of the month. So let's talk about the next 11 days. First alert weather days again for the Clipper today, the blowing snow, the tough travel. And then Saturday, we're looking for the dangerous wind chills in the morning. Still could be tough travel in the early morning hours, especially with the wind still stronger, but the snow is done at that point. Saturday night and into Sunday, that next Clipper bringing snow, and then the increasing wind during the day on Sunday. And here's a look at our temperatures. We're really looking pretty chilly compared to where we've been. Our average high is 18 in Fargo. It's 15 in Grand Forks. And so not far off of it, a couple of days next week, it's just going to be a lot colder again than we've been a little bit spoiled by here for the first half of the month. And you can see some snow chances possible as we head into mid next week. Then we get another push of cold air, another round of it, another Arctic air mass pushing in, and so it kind of reinforces the cold. And not just that, but we are getting even colder as we head into the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, we could spend the whole entire weekend, next weekend, below zero. So definitely looking to be cold for that last weekend into January, and then to start that last week of the month as well. So we expect to see these kind of temperatures and these kind of changes. There's always a cold weather outbreak at some point during the winter season. And we often have, several days below zero. But it's just a little tough to take given we've been so warm lately. So again, just a reminder, our first alert weather days continue for today and into Saturday and Sunday. Take it easy if you need to travel. Just a quick reminder, we want to make sure you're sharing your travel plans, you're staying informed with us at Valley News Live, and you know how the roads are looking before you hit the roads. And communicating, again, your travel plans with folks so they know when and where to expect you and how you're going to get there too. And then in addition to that winter survival kit in your car is so important, and just having your car prepared, fully gassed, a fully charged cell phone, and the extra layers and the things that you need in case you become stranded if you end up sliding off the road. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we've seen it happening today. So it's happened to other folks. So want to make sure you're staying safe, and I hope you have a great weekend despite the weather not exactly cooperating with a lot of our weekend plans. If I had to pick a moment during the weekend, that would be the best time to head out and maybe run some errands or just get out and enjoy a little time outside. It would be Saturday afternoon. Now it's going to be cold. Temperatures don't rise much, but the winds will have come down, so the wind chills won't be as bad Saturday afternoon. And that also means that we won't be seeing as much blowing snow during that time. But once we get into Saturday night and into Sunday, more snow showers are coming down. And Sunday could get pretty tough with blowing snow too. So the First Alert Storm Team will be here for you. We're going to keep you up to date through today and into the course of the weekend as well, with continued updates right here on Valley News Now, on Facebook, on our YouTube channel. And we'll have another update coming up in just a little bit. Meteorologist Summer Schnellbach will be doing an update on the noon show today on KX4, so you can get that full forecast there as well in the latest conditions. And then, of course, all of our newscasts later tonight will be keeping you up to date, too. So make sure you tune in. Otherwise, I hope you have a great weekend and a safe and warm weekend, too. And we will see springtime come soon if you're not loving this turn back to winter weather. We're already in the second half of January. We're starting to gain daylight as well. So some things to, I guess, take to heart if you're not loving this cold weather turn that we're seeing right now. And if you are, enjoy it. The fresh snow we're getting, it's going to stick around for a while, which I know snowmobilers and skiers and people who just love that winter view with fresh snow, you're going to love that heading into the week next week as we stay below freezing. It'd just be nice to, shut the wind off a little bit here. And that will happen Saturday for a time, but it doesn't go away completely. So again, stay safe out there. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here again on Monday morning. This has been your weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. And again, I hope you have a great day, a great Friday, and a great weekend.
There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.